So welcome everyone to session 5. We're kicking off with a presentation by Berlinda on
this. So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I was talking about how the Water Authority and Sanitary District provides services for the city of Coachella. We have over 8,000 active accounts. We're considered a small agency, but we are still required to do all of the things that a large agency is required to do as well. You know, we have over 120 lines of distribution for water. And let's see, we have 3 active reservoirs that have the capacity of 10.5 million gallons. We have 2 booster stations, 7 booster pumps total, and we have 6 active groundwater wells. For sanitation, our wastewater treatment plant is designed at 4.8 MGD, million gallons a day, but our average treatment capacity is 2.8 a day. We are a secondary treatment facility, and we discharge our effluent to the storm channel, the CVSC. To learn more about our systems, please visit Conserve Coachella. And now I'm going to provide you a virtual tour of our facilities featuring our systems. So stand by.
Berlinda, we can't hear your video.
Okay, let me go back into the settings here and see why I need to choose video settings and choose sound. Okay, I'm not seeing where, oh, here we go. Hold on. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I'm getting nervous now. Let's try this again. Can you guys hear that? I can't hear you now.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I still can't hear the video, sorry.
Okay.
I know sometimes when you start a screen share, there's a little box you click to share audio as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and let me see more. Share sound, there we go. Okay, just trying it again.
As the sun rises to start each and every day, more than 45,000 people who call Coachella home begin their morning routine with water. Whether they start their day brushing their teeth, taking a shower, or grabbing a glass of fresh tap water, they all depend on Coachella Water Authority and Sanitary District to make sure they have plenty of water available whenever they need it. Coachella relies on groundwater for 100% of its supply. One of the advantages of groundwater is that it doesn't need a lot of treatment. Coachella has 6 wells throughout the city to draw the water out of the ground. This well off Avenue 48 can pump 2,000 gallons per minute. Once the water is above ground, it goes through a mild chlorination process to disinfect the water. This process kills any organisms that may be in the water, ensuring it meets all state and federal safety standards. From there, the water enters one of 3 reservoirs. In addition to this tank off Avenue 48, water is also stored at a reservoir off Dillon Road. Visible from Interstate 10, it is noted for the large murals painted on it by a local artist named Armando Lerma. This is part of the 2019 Desert X art exhibit. A 3rd reservoir sits along Bagduma Park in the heart of the city. The reservoirs help maintain water pressure and can store a combined 10.5 million gallons of water. These storage facilities ensure there is always enough water to meet demand, even in the event of a large fire. This whole process is assisted by a supervisory control and data acquisition system, better known as SCADA. This automated computer system monitors water levels in the reservoirs, the amount of chlorine added as part of the treatment process, and the water pressure. It can then turn equipment on and off as needed, and it also sends alerts to staff if there are any issues. Now, from the reservoirs, the water enters the distribution system. It travels through more than 120 miles of pipes on its way to serving more than 8,100 homes and businesses across the city. Coachella Water Authority and Sanitary District takes care of the next part of the process as well. 2.8 million gallons of wastewater flow through a gravity-fed system to the city's treatment plant every day. An Archimedean screw pump elevates the wastewater so it can flow through the treatment system. Here, a bar screen removes wipes, tissue paper, and other trash flushed into the sewer. Once those larger items are screened out, the water flows into the grit vortex. Now, this process, similar to a whirlpool, removes smaller inorganic materials such as eggshells, sand, and small rocks. From there, the wastewater enters the oxidation ditch. Oxygen is introduced through a mechanical aerator where it helps microorganisms eat bacteria. Fats, oils, and greases that collect on top are then skimmed off and removed. Since the sludge contains microorganisms that help the treatment process, it's cycled back into the oxidation ditch. Once it builds up too high, the excess is pumped to the sludge drying beds. Here, wastewater drains out the bottom and re-enters the treatment system. The dried sludge that remains is transferred to a stockpile and eventually disposed. The wastewater treatment facility also has a SCADA system. This is a much more complex setup due to the number of steps needed to treat wastewater. Similar to the drinking water setup, this SCADA system will adjust equipment as necessary in order to meet demand and keep the plant operating efficiently. Now, once the wastewater flows into the contact stabilization tanks, additional microorganisms are introduced to eliminate bacteria in the wastewater. From there, it flows into a clarifier where any remaining solids settle to the bottom. The chlorine contact chamber disinfects and kills any remaining bacteria. It then goes through a process to remove any remaining chlorine before it's discharged into the Coachella Valley Storm Channel as a safe source of water. This follows the path of the Whitewater River, which eventually leads into the Salton Sea, where clean water is desperately needed. Coachella Water Authority and Sanitary District serves as an environmental steward for the city. By encouraging residents to conserve both indoors and outside, this city will draw less groundwater. This helps sustain the aquifer as a reliable water source now and into the future. From sunrise to sunset, the people of Coachella can rest easy, knowing that they will always have a reliable supply of clean, safe drinking water, and all wastewater will be treated and returned to our environment. To learn more about the Water Authority and Sanitary District, Visit conservecoachella.com.
Okay, folks, that was our virtual tour of the Coachella Water Authority and Sanitary District. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or drop something into the Q&A chat, and I will take the time to answer you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Berlinda. That was wonderful. So next, we have Coachella Valley Water District, who will give their presentation.
Yes, hello. Let me share my screen. It always takes a couple of minutes for us to do that. Okay, so I'm Lorraine Garcia, Communication Specialist with Coachella Valley Water District, and I'm going to take you through a few slides about our agency, and I have a couple of videos for you as well for our portion of the virtual tour. Our mission is to meet the water-related needs of the people through dedicated employees, providing high-quality water at a reasonable cost. Our service area is 1,000 square miles. As you can see from this boundary map here on the right outside of Desert Hot Springs to the Salton Sea communities, is our service area. We serve several cities within the Coachella Valley, not all, but several, and also some communities within unincorporated Riverside County. And to serve those communities, we do it in 7 different areas of service. So they're all listed here. I don't have time to go through all of them, so I did put links in there. So if you are interested in learning more about the areas of service that we provide to our community, they are all linked up here. We are governed by a 5-member board. They are elected by the public, also known as ratepayers. And I also put a link here so that if you're interested in knowing who your representative is, there's a boundary map and their bios as well. They serve 4-year terms and set policy and represent you all. We have more than 560 employees because we have a lot of areas of service to cover, and they work every day to keep water flowing to homes and businesses. And if I could put a picture of each of them on here, I would, but I just didn't have the space. And so we also maintain training, certifications, different levels of education for different jobs, depending on what it is. We are often working on critical tasks serving our community. Public health is a priority. We operate and maintain thousands of miles of pipelines and many facilities to cover all of those areas of service. Whenever there's an emergency, there's that lower left picture there of a emergency domestic water pipeline repair. We repair sewer, domestic water pipelines, fire hydrants, irrigation valves, and more. And that's 24/7, day or night. And oftentimes you may not even know that it's happening because we often have it as a priority so that we're not disrupting service or our community. So sometimes things are unseen, but we are there to fix all of those repairs. We also monitor your water system. We have employees, there's a picture here in the middle, that collect more than 18,000 water samples per year. And those water samples are tested at our state certified lab at one of our Palm Desert offices. And that's rain or shine. And that's to ensure high quality tap water. And we adhere to very strict regulations here in California and on the federal level as well. We also work to keep our district fiscally healthy, to have the proper reserves in case of an emergency, such as a pandemic like COVID-19. And I do want to note that we can only charge what it costs to provide each service and no more. And so we, as agencies, hire third-party consultants to do rate studies. And that's how rates are determined. And we will only charge what it costs to provide that service. We plan for the future. Our water management plan was originally published in 2002. And it's a blueprint for the Coachella Valley in sustaining our groundwater basin and with goals and objectives to reduce water usage. It was updated in 2010 and is currently being updated again. Things change, our communities change, legislation happens, and regulations, we have new ones all the time. And with legislation and regulations on the mind, we advocate also for our Coachella Valley to make sure that our voices are heard in Sacramento and on the federal level as well. Because sometimes when regulations or legislation comes out, sometimes it's in a broad sense, and we want to make sure that we are doing things that make sense for our valley. So we're there to do that. And I also just want to say that I'm proud to work with all the men and women at Coachella Valley Water District who are passionate about what they do, and we feel good about working for an organization that does so much for our community. Oftentimes water is taken for granted, and I think sometimes that's because you can't see some of our facilities. Our pipelines are underground. We sometimes have reservoirs or well sites that are behind walls that look like houses, and we do that so that we're not taking away from that beauty of our desert, those views that we love. But we are there, and we're this is just some of the things that we do for our community, but we're proud to do it. I also have a timeline here. I'm not going to go through all of these dates. I just wanted to add it to this presentation in case you are curious about the timeline of water. CVWD is more than 100 years old, and we have done a lot for this valley. And the early employees of CVWD had forward thinking to start acquiring water rights, to bring water into this valley, to build facilities that would reduce water waste. So many things that have happened over the past 100 years to help our economy, to have the tourism that we have. We wouldn't have any of that without water, because we need that to sustain our valley here. So it's there in the PowerPoint if you want to download it and take a look. We also have a history book on our website at cvwd.org/store. And it goes up to 2020 here, this timeline. And I'm also happy to be able to share a behind the scenes video tour with you that we have not released yet out to the public. But this one, we are working on several, and this one is in its most final stage, and I am able to share it with you today. And so we'll be talking about here in this video our domestic water well sites. So let's take a look here, and hopefully our sound is working. Uh-oh.
I'm not seeing it.
Not seeing it?
Nope.
Uh-oh, okay. Of course not. Let's see. Let's try that again. Sorry about that. Let's try this again.
Okay, seeing something now.
Good, okay.
Oh. I don't see any, whoops. Okay, Lorraine, so I'm not seeing it anymore. Oh, there we go. Nice. But no sound.
My name is Maureen Perry, and I'm an education specialist with the Coachella Valley Water District. We have put together a series of videos that will bring you a lot of information about several of our facilities throughout the district, facilities that normally the public is not allowed to enter or to see. So we hope you appreciate this new series. And remember, your water is our promise.
I'm Glenn Luby, Domestic Water Engineer for Coachella Valley Water District, and today we're at one of CVWD's domestic water production well sites. CVWD has approximately 100 of these sites scattered throughout the valley. You've probably driven past these countless times and not even noticed they're here. You may have noticed a building, a wall, or maybe some above ground piping, but where our water comes from is hundreds of feet below the ground. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about where this water comes from. This well is approximately 1,300 feet deep, and the key components are the well screen, as you can see an example of here, gravel pack that surrounds the well casing, and then you have the natural formation, the natural ground that this well is drilled into. So the water is in a below ground aquifer, and it travels through the formation into the gravel pack, and then through these slots in the well casing into the well. And then once it's inside the well casing, the vertical turbine pump brings that water up to the surface where it comes into our distribution system. As the well is being drilled, soil samples are taken approximately every 10 feet. We encounter different soil types, including sands, gravel, clay. We're looking for sandy portions that produce water more efficiently into the well and avoid clay sections where water does not flow efficiently. Once the well is constructed, we test pump the well to determine the operation parameters of the well, determine how much water we can efficiently produce from the well, and then we size our permanent pump equipment accordingly. Once the well is fully constructed and approved for operation into our distribution system, the water will be called to turn on based on reservoir water levels for the production zone it's in. The well initially pumps to the blow-off for a few minutes just to remove any fine material that may be in the water, which is common upon startup. After a few minutes of pumping to the blow-off, water will then go into our distribution system. On the manifold, you can see our flow meter here, so we can measure how much water is being produced by this well. This is where the chlorine solution is injected into the water produced to maintain the appropriate chlorine residual. And then it goes down below ground into our distribution pipeline.
Okay, I hope everyone was able to hear that and see that. It's always so funny every time we prepare for these things always happen. I have one more video and then my presentation will be over. So hopefully this one will work a little better.
Hi, we're the Coachella Valley Water District. We're proud to deliver to you some of the cleanest and safest water in the nation. But did you know that the water we deliver to you actually comes from right underneath our land? It all comes from a natural groundwater basin, also known as an aquifer. This aquifer is made up of layers including sand, gravel, and clay. In between each of these gravel and sand pieces, there is enough space to hold water. And all this sand and gravel behaves like a natural water filter, producing high-quality drinking water. We have more than 100 wells that are drilled to about 1,200 feet underground. From there,
Not
we pump
seeing
the
it.
water up into our
Oops.
main line.
Oh,
Lorraine?
thank you. Do you see anything now? Are you seeing my screen now?
The emblem.
Okay, good. And can you hear it?
Hi, we're the Coachella Valley Water District.
Yes.
We're proud to deliver to you some of the cleanest and safest water in the nation. But did you know that the water we deliver to you actually comes from right underneath our land? It all comes from a natural groundwater basin, also known as an aquifer. This aquifer is made up of layers including sand, gravel, and clay. In between each of these gravel and sand pieces, there is enough space to hold water. And all this sand and gravel behaves like a natural water filter, producing high-quality drinking water. We have more than 100 wells that are drilled to about 1,200 feet underground.
From there, we pump the water up into our main lines and one of our 60 different reservoirs. The largest of these can hold over 12 million gallons.
This water is then delivered to your faucets and sprinklers through nearly 2,000 miles of pipeline. So now you may be wondering, wait a minute, we don't get much rain out here. Are we gonna run out of water if we keep pumping our aquifer? No.
As a matter of fact, CVWD and Desert Water Agency have a groundwater replenishment program that replenishes the aquifer. Coachella Valley Water District oversees 3 groundwater replenishment facilities. To help alleviate groundwater overdraft, we use a supply of imported water. CVWD has entitlement to the State Water Project, which provides water from the Sacramento Bay Delta, but because there's no way to get that water from there to here, we exchange that water bucket for bucket with Metropolitan Water District's Colorado River water, which is delivered from the Colorado River Aqueduct. We also get additional water from captured snowmelt from local mountains and from the Coachella Canal. In fact, we have replenished more than 650 billion gallons of water back into the ground since 1973. But one of the best ways to keep our aquifer healthy is by using water wisely and conserving our precious resource as much as possible. To learn more about water, visit us at cvwd.org.
You're still on mute.
All these controls here.
I
Sorry
know.
about yes. Sorry about the difficulties, but I hope that you enjoyed those videos. I was happy to share them with you. Here is my contact information in case you have any questions regarding Coachella Valley Water District, and our websites here as well. And thank you so much for your time and being here to learn about water with us.
Thank you, Lorraine. Yeah, definitely great videos there for sure. Oops. So now on to our next presentation. And actually, that is me. So I will go ahead and start sharing my screen again. There, I think you guys can see it, right? So yeah, so let's get started. I just wanted to start with a little bit of background on who we are. Desert Water Agency was formed in 1961 as an independent special district with the primary goal of importing water to the region, managing groundwater, and ensuring an adequate supply of water in the western part of the Coachella Valley. Prior to our formation, there was, all the people that were living in the desert here, there were years and years of pumping water from that was causing the groundwater levels to drop. And so there was a need to import water and manage it. Our district was formed to help with that. And we are also one of 29 state water project contractors, along with CVWD. And, you've heard all about that. Our general manager, Mark Kraus, he spoke about that during session 2. Hopefully I don't need to go into too much detail about that, but we also provide tap water and recycled water, and we provide a limited wastewater service. Now, here is our boundary. We are, our service boundary is 325 square miles. It's outlined there in blue. And, it covers a wide area, includes Palm Springs, parts of Cathedral City, Desert Hot Springs, and unincorporated areas, such as Palm Oasis and Pinyon Pines. But we do not provide tap water to the entire area. But we are responsible for managing water supply within the boundary. Whoops, let's see. There we go. And so a little bit about who we serve. We provide water, tap water, for the city of Palm Springs and portions of Cathedral City. We have about 23,000 active water accounts. And like I mentioned earlier, we also provide sewer collection, but only, it's very limited, only within Cathedral City, and it's only in their downtown and Cove area. So the water that we provide to our customers, it comes from various sources. We use imported water. Like I mentioned, we are a state water project contractor, and we have rights to water. We exchange that for Colorado River water, which helps replenish the underground aquifer. We also use groundwater. About 95% of the drinking water that DWA serves comes from the underground aquifer. It's pumped from deep wells throughout our service area, but we also use stream water. That makes, Desert Water Agency a little unique. We use stream water. It's all mountain fed streams. And actually, these 3 streams that are listed here, Chino Creek, Falls Creek, and Snow Creek, they were the main source of water for the Palm Springs area, before the 1900s. The stream supplies, can vary from year to year depending on rain and snowfall. And we also provide recycled water. We treat wastewater for use by golf courses and parks and medians. They use it for irrigation. I wanted to share this video with you. We created this about a year ago, right when the pandemic started, as just a way to help our customers understand a little, better our water delivery system. So let me get that started.
There's no sound, Sochi.
Oh, okay.
It sounds very low.
Okay, so no sound. Let me try to redo this. Let's see. Sorry about that. Always happens. Okay, let's try it again, guys. And let me know if there is sound this time.
Thank you for joining us on our tour of Desert Water Agency.
Yes, you're good.
Let's start at the
Yay!
very beginning. For years, people have been using water from a vast underground aquifer. The more people that found this desert oasis, the more water levels dropped. Desert Water Agency was founded in 1961 to manage water in this dry region by bringing in supplies from wetter places. Desert Water Agency is one of 29 agencies in California that has rights to the Sierra Nevada mountain snowmelt. We're a local government agency that is run by a 5-member board of community members elected to represent the people in this area. Our mission is to provide safe, affordable tap water today while planning for a sustainable future. Let's head to the first stop on our tour, a groundwater well site. This is where we pump water from deep underground, usually about 400 feet down, to deliver to homes and businesses. We have about 25 of these well sites spread throughout the community. We typically have 10 running at a time. At many of these well sites, we also have chlorine injection points to keep the water free from bacteria and viruses as it travels to your sink. This groundwater doesn't have any contact with people until it gets to you. Next, we're headed to Snow Creek. While most of our water is pumped from underground, about 5% of Desert Water Agency supply comes from the mountain streams. Snow Creek is one of 3 streams we can pull from. After the water is pumped from the ground or captured from the stream, it is stored in reservoirs, large steel tanks that you can see on the mountainside. We have about 26 of these tanks in our water system. This reservoir is our largest. It is actually partially buried underground. It holds 12 million gallons of water. That's enough to supply a normal household for nearly 50 years. These reservoirs keep our water system pressurized with gravity, and they also act as a critical stored supply in the event of a power outage or a natural disaster. From these reservoirs, water travels through an extensive pipeline system with more than 400 miles of pipes. Some of these pipes date back to the Great Depression. Our crews are hard at work fixing leaks, while our engineering team works to plan pipeline replacement. The new, more flexible pipe should last about 100 years. It will also reduce costly emergency repairs. We test more than 2,000 samples a year to ensure that your tap water is safe. California has some of the strictest drinking water standards in the world, and it's our job to meet them. You and your family can enjoy safe, reliable tap water for drinking, cooking, and keeping clean. Our team is here for the community during this public health crisis. We're available to answer any questions you may have as our team keeps the water flowing. The Desert Water Agency team is also committed to helping customers in need. Please go to www.dwa.org/COVID to learn more.
Okay, glad that that finally worked. As you saw in the video, water quality is obviously very important to DWA and all water agencies. Our staff works hard to ensure that all federal and state guidelines are met, through constant testing. We do have a lab, and we have a lab director. And we also put out an annual water quality report, which is required. It's a way for water agencies to be transparent and provide information on what is in their drinking water. Our water quality report can be found at that website there, dwa.org/WQR, which stands for Water Quality Report. And we also we recycle our water. We opened our recycling plant in 1988. With the help from the city of Palm Springs, we began delivering treated sewage water or recycled water to some of the golf courses and parks in Palm Springs for irrigation purposes. So basically, the wastewater is first collected by the city of Palm Springs, and then they treat it at their wastewater facility. And then they send it to us, to our recycling facility, where we treat it again before it is sent out and used for irrigation. And since we opened our recycling plant, we have recycled more than 106,500 acre feet. So that's pretty good there. Obviously the water is pumped out of the ground by private users and also water agencies like DWA to serve the public. But we can't just keep pumping water out without thinking of future generations. So that's why it is important to replenish the water. And in 2002, DWA completed construction of the Mission Creek Groundwater Replenishment Facility to recharge the subbasin in the area north of Palm Springs with imported water. Obviously sustainability is important. It's a very important part of our efforts. We produce and sell electrical power via 2 hydroelectric generating plants, and we also have a solar panel farm. I have a video here that provides a little more information on our sustainability efforts. So let me see if I can get this one going with sound.
Sustainability is at the core of what Desert Water Agency does. Desert Water Agency was founded in 1961 with a mission to bring water into our desert to support the economy and lifestyle of future generations. We import water that's delivered to us off the Colorado River Aqueduct. That water offsets the water we pump from underground to use in our homes, businesses, and outdoor spaces. While we bring the water in, we put it through a turbine to generate carbon-free power that we sell to Southern California Edison to help keep water rates as low as possible. The water ends up in percolation ponds. Desert Water Agency and our partner, Coachella Valley Water District, put water into ponds in the Desert Hot Springs and Palm Springs area. Here, the water soaks into the ground to keep the groundwater levels healthy. Since the 1980s, we've been recycling wastewater to use on golf courses, parks, athletic fields, road medians, and our office landscaping. This means we can leave more water in the aquifer, which protects water levels and reduces our energy footprint. It also helps improve water quality since users need less fertilizer. We also partner with the community to save water through our popular incentive programs. Customers can get money for doing things like replacing grass with desert landscape or artificial turf. This is important because it means we don't have to buy or transport as much water from outside the valley. It also means we may be able to avoid having to build larger facilities in years to come. We work to protect water and be good stewards of the desert. The great news is that we're a public agency, so these investments also help our community financially. To learn more about how you can join our sustainability efforts and take advantage of water conservation incentives, visit us at www.dwa.org/save.
Okay, great. I think that one worked. Like I mentioned, like one of the videos mentioned earlier, we do have 23 active wells across our service area. But we don't run them all continuously. We run the more efficient wells more often. We also have 26 reservoirs, and they are equipped with earthquake actuators to help avoid water loss and potential contamination if the big one or a significant enough earthquake were to hit. So that's good. And our total reservoir capacity is 60 million gallons. Which is about how much water 245 homes use in a year. So that's quite the capacity. Now here, I wanted to talk about our filtration plant. This is our newest facility. We opened it in October 2020, this past fall. The plant filters surface water from Snow Creek and Falls Creek for our for distribution in Snow Creek Village, which is just north of Palm Springs, off of Highway 111. I'm not sure if everyone knows where Snow Creek Village is. And the plant is located next to our Snow Creek hydroelectric plant. And we are in the planning stages for another filtration plant. This one would be located in Palm Oasis near Windy Point. And that would help, that would allow us to utilize more stream water within our distribution system. So here is a video, a little sneak peek at our Snow Creek area. Let me see if I can play this one also. Oops. There you go.
Most of the water we deliver to homes and businesses, we pump from deep underground. However, Desert Water Agency does have rights to local stream water. It accounts for less than 5% of our water supply, but is anticipated to grow in the future. Snow Creek is one of 3 streams we can pull water from. It is nestled in the San Jacinto Mountains. The water flows through an intake and is diverted to a nearby settling structure to allow for any sand and grit to separate. A little chlorine is also added for disinfection. From there, the water is stored inside an equalization reservoir before it travels through pressurized pipes toward our hydroelectric and filtration plants. They are located next to each other along Snow Creek Road near Snow Creek Village. If the water is diverted through the hydroelectric plant, then it continues to the whitewater spreading basins where it recharges the groundwater. If the water is sent through our new filtration plant, then it is cleaned and further chlorinated before it travels via pipeline to our Snow Creek Reservoir to serve nearby Snow Creek Village.
There you go. I'm glad that video worked because I love Snow Creek. It's such a beautiful area. It's in a pretty remote place, so it's not easily accessible by the public. So I'm glad that we were able to share that with you. So this is my last slide. I just wanted to be sure to highlight our incentive program because obviously conservation is very important, to help ensure dependable water supply into the future. We work with our customers to help them save water through our incentive program. We offer rebates on smart irrigation controllers, sprinkler heads, washing machines, and turf removal. And as you learned earlier in the academy, replacing lawn with desert landscaping or artificial turf is a great way to help conserve water, and we will give you money to do that. Most agencies do offer rebates, and our customers can go to dwa.org/save to learn more about our incentive program. So that's it from me. I put my email address there, xpena@dwa.org. If anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to shoot me an email, and I'd be more than happy to, answer any questions. So that is it. So it looks like our next presenter is Desert, let's see, nope, that was me, India Water Authority. So Ray, if you want to share your presentation, that would be wonderful.
Okay, thank you for having me. I will give it a try. And I do actually have a video that we have posted on our Facebook page, so we can have a couple of options so you can see what we do here at Indio.
Great.
And let me start with this screen, and you can tell me if you can see that. Are you able to see that?
Oh, we don't see anything yet.
Okay, let me try again. I thought by now I'd be able to go a little smoother, so I apologize for that.
No worries. We're all having technical issues.
So you're not seeing that, right?
Nope, not
Okay.
yet. It worked earlier.
It did when we practiced, so. Oh, okay, I see what I'm doing. Let's try this.
Okay, now we're seeing something. Yes.
Good. And just let me know if it's in presentation mode. It's not, huh?
Nope, we're still seeing all the slides on the side.
So let me try this here, and it says share.
Yep, that looks good.
So very good. So very similar to the agencies that just presented, Indio Water Authorities in the Coachella Valley. And we do have a common theme, is that we assure you that we deliver water to our residents, to the businesses, to the homes. And the way we do that has been shared by all the agencies here today. Now, we are a little different sizes, such as Coachella Valley Water District, but the responsibilities remain the same. Whether we're large or big, we have to adhere to the state guidance. And we got to make sure that every time you turn on the tap, the water's there, regardless of the seasonal patterns in our weather. So a bit about Indio is, Indio was formed back in the Indio Water Authority was formed back in 2000. Prior to the formation, the city actually owned and operated the system. But by forming a very dedicated water agency, the idea is that we are very focused, such as the other agencies that presented, on just one utility. And that responsibility is governed by a five-member agency board, which happens to be the city council for the city of Indio. This exhibit shows you our approximate city limits, or rather our boundaries where we service water. It's about 38 square miles. And it partly from Jefferson to about the Gulf Center Parkway is our limits. And it has some area north of the 10 freeway, as well as south of the 10 freeway. On an annual basis, we look at about 6.3 billion gallons of water being delivered. We have approximately 88,000 residents that we service. In our particular water resource, it's 100% groundwater. We don't import water. We don't have any water rights outside of our service area. Unlike some of our sister agencies, they have additional resources that ultimately benefit us all. Specifically to the metrics that we might be interested in is how much do we deliver in a day? So it's a large amount, 17.4 million gallons daily. And on a person-by-person basis, some of our latest numbers shows that we use about 205 gallons per person per day. So there's a lot of room for improvement in reduction of that use. Earlier, conservation was mentioned. And so this is a clear indication of where we can actually improve. As far as our transmission pipelines, or the pipelines overall in our system, we have 18 and 24-inch pipelines and about 328 miles of pipelines in such a small service area. We also have over 3,000 fire hydrants, 7 large storage tanks, and 6 booster stations. And like the other agencies, since we're 100% reliant on groundwater, we have a good number of groundwater wells. We have 20 in the city of Indio itself. So some of our responsibilities include conservation, water quality. Again, the state of California has the strictest requirements throughout the whole country. So that's an area that we need to make sure and test daily, weekly, monthly, and ensure that the water delivered to our agencies meet the highest quality. We also have a responsibility of customer service. In this whole event of the pandemic, we really had to work in ways that not only that we work from home, but we need to maintain our telephone lines available to the customers. We did have to close our facilities, so everything's now been done mostly through electronic, and in some cases by appointment only to plan check and to get water services to new developments. And another area of responsibility is land development. And what we mean by that is anytime you have a new store or a coffee shop or new homes that want to build in our city limits, we actually review the plans from the developer and ensure that we have enough water for them, and also review that they have the right size piping to their system. So if there's any Home Depots, Walmarts, or any type of restaurant, they will go through the water agency for approval. One of the notable programs, again, because of the opportunity of still reducing our over 200 gallons per day, we want to make sure and continue to implement our conservation programs. And what that really means fundamentally is if there's any lawns that have grass, we try to encourage that they replace that with desert-friendly landscaping, such as what you see in that picture. In addition to that, some of the older toilets that were installed a decade or more ago use much more water than the most efficient low flush toilet that you see at some of the larger hardware stores. And we do offer rebates for that. One of our biggest responsibilities is not only to plan for today, but also plan for tomorrow. So one of the recent studies that we had, which is a water master plan, looks at the future population growth. And you can see here over the next 20 or so years, actually, yeah, the next 20 years, we're looking at about a 33% increase in our population. So we have to plan for that. We need to make sure that we have enough wells and we have enough supply for that. And the only way to meet that large growth is to continue to conserve and to collaborate with the other agencies, like the sister agencies that presented today, and see if we can have better use of imported water, like the Colorado River, or if there's any programs that we can implement as a region to use recycled water for irrigation purposes. In addition to that, as our system continues to grow old, part of our responsibility is to continue not only to meet the growing demand, but also the existing population that we have in Indio. So we install new pipelines, we constantly rehab groundwater wells. The picture that you're seeing here is actually Indio contracting with a contractor, checking a groundwater well. That's actually a groundwater well building. And what we try to do is extend the life of our existing facilities. Drilling a new well would cost about $4, maybe even $5 million. But to rehab a well and extend the life of a well, possibly 10, even up to 20 years, only costs a fraction of that $4 million or so. It typically costs between $250,000 and $300,000. So we're constantly working on those types of projects to enhance and improve our system. It also includes replacing fire hydrants and then updating or installing new meters so that they're more efficient in reading the information and the volumes that each of the customer uses each month. So with that, just want to give you our website, and I do have a video that I'll try my hardest to make it work the first time. And, I just wanted to show you a picture that one of our, we are the location collectively, all these agents share responsibility to providing this water to festivals, local festivals. And I think it's important that we understand that without this water and without our infrastructure, these festivals cannot happen here in the Valley. So now, if you see a blank screen, that's good. Do you see a white screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Each and every day, we depend on safe, clean water. Even in these challenging times, Indio Water Authority remains committed to delivering a reliable supply of water to your family. As essential workers, the dedicated men and women of IWA remain on the job to make sure you and your children, extended family, and friends can continue to enjoy the high-quality water you've come to expect. While we face a lot of uncertainties, know that you can always depend on Indio Water Authority, and together we will see brighter days ahead. Indio Water Authority. Your water, our responsibility.
And that concludes my presentation. If there's any questions, I hope you're able to see that. Post that.
Thank you so much for that. I'm glad that that worked out. So it looks like our next presentation will be by Mission Springs Water District. So, hi, Victoria.
Hi, good afternoon. You guys can hear and see me okay? Lovely. All right. Let's start with the share screen. Fingers crossed for no technical issues here. Okay. Can you see my screen? And
Yes.
I'm trying to go to, there we go, slideshow from beginning. Okay. Are you seeing the presentation screen?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Hi, I'm Victoria Lort with Mission Springs Water District and Programs and Public Affairs Associate. Today, I'm going to talk about Mission Springs Water District. A lot of this is probably going to sound repetitive as Indio Water Authority was mentioning. We overlap quite a bit in a lot of the same services that we provide. So who is Mission Springs Water District? We were founded in 1953. We are a county water district, similar to Coachella Valley Water District. So we operate through the Water Code, Section 30,000. Our service area includes the city of Desert Hot Springs proper, unincorporated areas of Riverside County, such as Desert Edge or Mission Lakes Country Club, for any of you who might be familiar with that, as well as North Palm Springs and portions of the Whitewater area. We have approximately 13,000 customers with a service population of about 39,500. And we're responsible for both water and sewer services. And as stated, we are a county water district and we are a public agency. That being said, we also are governed by a 5-member body of individuals elected from the community. So we have a 5-member board of directors, and this is our current board makeup. Our board president, Nancy Wright, Russ Martin, Randy Duncan, Steve Grasha, and Ivan Sewell. So our mission is to provide, protect, and preserve our most valuable resource, which is known as water. We have a service area that's over 135 square miles, and our pipeline includes 1.25 million feet. We have 13 active wells, and we have 24 reservoirs, which have over a 22.5 million gallon capacity, which includes 14 pressure zones and 24 booster pumps. And what we're going to be focusing on today, our video, is the wastewater treatment process. So as you'll see here very briefly, we have our Allen L. Horton wastewater treatment plant, which can have a capacity of 2 million gallons. And we have the aeration basins, clarifiers, and our percolation ponds. So this is just a fun little infographic, which kind of explains the water process very quickly for our service area. But I will then bring us over here to our video. So let's see if we can do this without too many glitches. All right, it's kind of hard to see. Are you able to see the YouTube screen?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Okay, great. Let's try the sound. Do we have audio?
Yes, I can hear it very faint.
Mission Springs
Oh, there we go.
has one simple mission:
Thank you.
Provide, protect, and preserve fresh, reliable drinking water since 1953, even tapping the title of best tasting water in the world 3 times in the past 20 years. In order to preserve that fresh drinking water, Mission Springs Water District serves as a steward for all water in its service area, including wastewater.
Hi, my name is Lee Boyer. I'm the Chief Plant Operator of the Mission Springs Water District, Allen L. Horton Wastewater Treatment Plant.
The district treats 2 million gallons of wastewater every day from houses, restaurants, and other businesses within its area.
It all goes in the collection system and flows into our inflow pump station, the structure here behind me. The bottom of that well is 30 feet deep. We have 4 40 horsepower pumps that we run 1, 2, 3, or 4 as necessary. They actually pump the flow up into the structure over here.
This is known as the grit removal system. The process removes sand, silt, and grit from the wastewater, so it's ready to go through one of the 5 aeration tanks. These tanks are filled with microorganisms used to break down organic compounds and nutrients. Next, the water goes through a series of gates known as the clarifier. Any remaining solids settle to the bottom and are eventually removed. State-mandated testing ensures that the treatment process works effectively.
We need to test the water, what we're putting in, to make sure that we're not doing degradation to the groundwater table below us.
The plant has 3 monitoring wells that are tested quarterly. Finally, these 2 million gallons of water flow into 8 percolation ponds and filter into the ground.
We want to protect everything going into the ponds to make the ponds perform better and also protect the groundwater below.
Meanwhile, the solids removed from the wastewater go through their own treatment process.
Our biggest goal at the plant is to maintain our solids. We don't want our solids to increase, but we don't want to waste so much that we don't have any solids, because that'll upset the process.
A machine called the belt filter press squeezes the water from the solids. That water goes back through the treatment process and the solids are hauled away to be recycled. Mission Springs Water District takes pride in its affiliation with the Desert Hot Springs Groundwater Guardian Team, a community educational program that is recognized internationally. In 1995, the district implemented the Groundwater Quality Protection Program. The goal of this septic to sewer program is to provide an additional 11,500 residents with sewer service. To give you an idea of how important the program has been to the community, approximately 782 million gallons of sewage have been prevented from percolating into the groundwater every year. As the Horton plant nears capacity, success from the Groundwater Quality Protection Program has paved the way for a new facility to treat an additional 1.5 million gallons of wastewater per day. And with additional homes connecting to the sewer system, the need is greater than ever for this new treatment plant to avoid any overflows and ensure water quality is maintained at the current plant. The Regional Water Reclamation Facility will utilize a different treatment process than the current Horton plant, known as the Sequence Batch Reactor Treatment Process, which has many benefits and is more efficient.
The better the process is running, the better our final product.
It has the capacity to meet the needs of future development and economic growth in the area. The smaller footprint of the plant will also allow for future expansion, including treatment for recycled water.
And that crystal clear water will be the first stage in advanced water treatment at this facility.
Designs for the Regional Water Reclamation Plant are complete and work is soon to commence. As stewards of our most precious resource, water, these projects allow Mission Springs Water District to continue providing award-winning water to customers for generations to come. Visit mswd.org to learn more about Mission Springs Water District and our groundwater protection efforts.
Okay. Can you see me again?
Yes.
I'm gonna have nightmares about this. That is the wastewater treatment process, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but CVWD, they also have a treatment plant, much larger due to their service area being larger as well. I did see a question come up here, and if you'll permit me, I'll answer it live. So how are the solids disposed of or recycled? So we actually ship our solids, as you saw through the truck, to Arizona, and they treat the solids, and then it's eventually used as fertilizer out in Arizona. So thank you so much for that question. And as you see, so Mission Springs Water District, up in Desert Hot Springs, we have quite a large amount of our customers still on septic tanks. And so since '95, we've been really trying for many years to convert everyone to a sewer system. And there's many benefits for that. One of them is protecting our groundwater supply and protecting the aquifers below us, so that if there are any septic tank failures, things of that nature, we can make sure that it doesn't contaminate the water supply below us. So we really take great pride in our efforts, as mentioned in the video, as groundwater guardians. And we are excited for our new regional plant to be constructed. And we hope to be moving sand out there sometime this summer. I'm open to more questions. Feel free to put them in the Q&A if you do happen to have any. If not, you have my email address here on the screen. I'm happy to answer any. And thank you again for joining us this year's Academy for our 5th year. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. That was wonderful. So our next presentation will be by Myoma Dunes Mutual Water Company. Hi, Michelle. Oh, you're still on mute.
Unmuted.
Oh, there you go. Wonderful.
Took a second. Okay. Thanks, Lorraine. I am Michelle Donze from Myoma Water. We are just getting the slides put up. I have a little different presentation. I'm going to give a background on mutual water companies, since we are the smallest entity of the desert here as a mutual company.
Are you seeing the screen with the slides?
It's got squares in the middle of it.
Ah, hang on. How about now?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. So just to go through a little bit of the history, as all the rest of the presentations today were public utilities, we are an actual mutual water. Mutual water companies were the first of the California water systems. Los Angeles started out with various mutual companies as late as the 1800s. They then proceeded the construction of irrigation channels, installation of pumps, as well as basic plumbing that distributes the water to its shareholders that own the property. And Myoma is one of those that we actually, our owners are property holders. Next slide. And that over time, as some places began to urbanize in the 1900s, some of the mutual water companies gave way to city-owned water departments and investor-owned utilities that are regulated by California Public Utility Commission. Some form of mutual or cooperative water companies exist in all 50 of the United States. They are common in rural areas, but also provide water in urban or suburb areas. In California, there's approximately 1,100 mutual water companies providing domestic water to homeowners. We have other mutuals in like the Big Bear area, up in Arrowhead. So there are a lot of smaller areas where you don't have larger, and they're all owned basically by their shareholders as being their homeowners that are on their systems. Some mutual companies are located in more than one city, are responsible for maintaining water systems that deliver water. Some have vested so that they are also have access to imported water operated by regional public water suppliers. So Myoma, being that we handle the community of Bermuda Dunes and a very small portion of La Quinta, our coverage area is about 5 square miles that we cover, but we do have access to the imported water and the region through Coachella Valley Water. We work with them in the replenishment area in the valley. Serving over 1.3 million Californians, Californians, or mutual water companies are private, not-for-profit organizations. They provide clean, reliable, and the most cost-effective water solution for hundreds of thousands of people, for farms and small businesses. Mutual water companies also provide high-quality jobs to California from all parts of the state. Myoma has only 8 employees versus what you've seen from the other districts today. Mutual water companies are organized under California Corporate Code 14300, regulated under the EPA Safe Drinking Act. They report local agency formation commission, and they exist in every California county as independent public agencies. Mutual water companies are regulated by California Water Code, health and safety codes, but we still have to abide with open meetings, records disclosure, and laws similar to many public water utilities. Quality control. Mutual waters have to meet the same water quality standards as other water utilities that provide water for domestic use. We currently have 2,500 customers, and we still have to put all our water through the same testing and quality standards as any other agency in the Valley. Myoma is the only mutual member of the CV Water Counts group. We serve a population of 8,900 approximately, and as I said, 2,500 actual connections. We were established in the Bermuda Dunes area from a small water company that operated in it was called the Carter Lake area. And we got our name from Myoma Dunes was a stagecoach stop in the 1900s as to where that came from. When growth started happening in this area, a developer this is a slide of the Bermuda Dunes Country Club. You can see the Bermuda Dunes Airport. This Ernie Dunleavy was the developer that actually established the Myoma Dunes Mutual Water to help build the community. He actually built the golf course and was owner of the airport, and did a lot of developing of the different households in the area, and it sort of has grown from there. He was also very locally involved with the Bob Hope Classic Golf Tournament that it was termed at the time, that started at the Bermuda Dunes Country Club. And that was a little bit about what Myoma is, as being, most people don't even know we're here. When I started, I thought it was like a bottled water company. So it's a very small little nook in the community. Anyone has any questions or want to know a little bit more about a mutual company, you can contact me right through our website. And Sochi, I had a very short presentation, so.
Thank you for that, Michelle. You are actually my water company, Myoma Dunes, yes. So I appreciate that. I learned quite a bit. But yeah, thanks to all the presenters. It looks like we're finished with our virtual tour. Lorraine, if you want to join, Lorraine's gonna take it from here. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Thank you to all of our partners at CV Water Counts, and on behalf of CV Water Counts, I want to thank all of you for being here with us for these past 5 weeks to learn about water. I think it's great that you're learning about your community and water because it's so important. We all need it, and I hope that you've been able to glean some information that you may not have known before. And I know it's tough to get a lot of information into these presentations, but we did our best to highlight the most important things. And we will have a survey that will be coming out to you for the last session and overall. Let us know if there's anything that you think can improve this academy. And I also, I thank you for bearing with us through this virtual time during the pandemic. I know it's a little difficult and very different than an in-person class, but we're happy that you've been here through 5 weeks of this. But I also want to encourage you to continue to learn about water and be an informed customer and an informed Coachella Valley resident. We all have some form of different public information communication channels, all of these agencies. So depending on which one is your agency, please follow them on social media or sign up for press releases. We all have board meetings, and even you can follow all of the other agencies. I do, just so that you keep up with what's going on in the Valley. We will be sending your certificate and a nice little pin since we're not able to do a graduation in person. And so we do have all of your addresses. It was something that we had asked in the when you first signed up. So again, I thank you. Please fill out the survey, and you should be receiving your certificate and pin and t-shirt. And also, if you missed a class, please let us know and we will send you some information on how to make it up so you can get your certificate. Thanks and have a great day. And I hope to see you again, maybe at one of our workshops. And goodbye for now.